Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and yes, I'm doing another Hauswirt stand mixer review. This time we're looking mostly at the whisk attachment, because I've not used that yet. So in this one I'm going to make lemon meringue pie. Okay, no requests, no dedications in this one. Just to tell you, this is a sponsored review. I was sent this and I'll get commission on any sales that result from this video or the two previous ones using my discount code. The code is down below. So make sure you check that out and use it if you're going to buy one of these babies, because it's really good. If you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And let's go on with it. Lemon meringue pie. Before I start the cooking, I've had a few questions about what I'm going to do with my poor old jilted, no longer wanted KitchenAid Q violin. It's going back to where it came from. If you're a long-time faithful fan of this channel, you might remember that this was a Christmas present to me, what, 5-6 years ago, from our son. And also at that time he had one of his own. Turned out it wasn't his own, it was half belonged to his partner at that time, and they broke up. Very sad. So that leaves him KitchenAidless, and when I told him this was happening, he's like, can I have the old one? So of course you can, yes. So it's going to a very good home and it will get used, so there you go. Little emotional story there. Right, let's get cooking. There's three components to a lemon meringue pie. There is the pie crust, pastry, which you can buy, but I would never be seen dead doing that. There's the filling, lemon curd, basically, and there's the topping, meringue. So I'm going to make the pastry first. I've got 150 grams of plain all-purpose flour. I've got 80 grams of unsalted butter cut into little bits. I've got a tablespoon of caster sugar, powdered sugar, 1 egg yolk, and some water, possibly as much as 100 ml, but just enough to make it happen. This is quite a clever recipe in terms of eggs, because you want 1 egg yolk in this pastry, you want 2 egg yolks in the lemon curd, and you want 3 egg whites in the meringue. So it all, gets used. I like that, this kind of symmetry. Right, so I'm going to mix in a tablespoon of caster sugar and then the egg yolk. When you're doing anything that involves meringue, you want the egg white to be completely uncontaminated by egg yolk, so be careful. Ta-da! Give that a quick mix. Now I'm going to pop it on the mixing machine with the paddle attachment and set that going. And now I'll just throw the butter in. You can do this by hand, obviously, and at this point you would want to break up the butter, rub it in with your fingertips, and try not to get it too warm. And after a couple of minutes, you'll have a mixture that looks like coarse breadcrumbs. Alright, so now I'll just add enough water to make it come together. There you go. Wrap it in plastic film and stick it in the fridge for at least half an hour. Now I'm going to make lemon curd, so I've got, well, 3 small lemons, or 2 big lemons, 2 egg yolks, they're inside there, 80 grams of unsalted butter cut into chunks, 1 orange, 80 grams of caster sugar, powdered sugar, and 2 tablespoons of corn flour, cornstarch. Now we need to do a little bit of prep before we start cooking stuff, so I want to get the yolks out of these, so I want the whites to go in there. And the yolks in there. Now we want some lemon zest. In fact, probably the zest of 2 of these lemons. They are unwaxed. And the orange. Right, now we need to mix the corn flour. That's 2 tablespoons. And the sugar. The lemon zest. And then gradually add the lemon juice and orange juice. And mix that into a nice smooth paste. Now we need to get over to the stove and heat this until it begins to thicken and bubble. Now take it off the heat and add the butter, bit at a time. Get that melted in. Okay, butter is all melted, so now we whiz in the egg yolks. That looks fine, and that looks perfect to me. If it's too thick, you can add a bit of hot water. Right, now, blind bake the pastry case. Okay, so get yourself a tin. Usually I would use a one with fluted sides and a removable bottom. But, you know, about 3 years ago I bought this this thing with an anti-soggy bottom device, i.e. holes in the bottom. And I've never really used it, so I'm going to do it in this. 22 centimetres at the top. 17.5 at the bottom. So on average, I would say that's 8 inches. Right, flour everywhere. And I think I've probably got about twice as much pastry here as I actually need. Now roll the dough out into a disc that's slightly larger than the tin and 4 to 5 millimeters thick. That's about 1/4 of an inch. Then roll it over your rolling pin and then unroll it into the tin. Now you want your oven heated to 160 degrees Celsius for a fan oven, convection oven or air fryer oven. And that's 180 for a normal one, if anybody's still got one of those. And that is gas 4. So line your pastry with some 2-year-old reused again and again greaseproof paper. And then reusable rice or baking beans or any kind of dried beans, just to give it some weight to hold the pastry down while it's doing its thing. And we'll give it 15 minutes with all this stuff in it. Okay, first bit is done, so now we need to leave that a little minute to cool down, then we'll get the baking weight thing out, put it back in the oven and give it another 10 minutes. So we'll pop that back in for another 10 minutes. Okay, we're done for the blind baking. Now it's cool enough to handle, so we'll just trim off the excess pastry. Now we need to make the meringue. So I've got 150 grams of caster sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour. I'll just mix these together, it makes it easier to add it later on. And the other ingredient is 3 egg whites. Get your mixer, get your whisk thing, chuck your egg whites in there and whisk them until you get stiff peaks. Okay, that was I think 6 minutes on full. So let's just have a look. That was pretty stiff to me. So now we need to add the sugar and the corn flour. And just mix those in. Now we can build the pie. So put the lemon curd in the pastry case. I'm thinking I'd have liked a bit more of that. Now we just pile blobs of meringue around the edge. I mean, you could pipe it if you felt like it. I'm rubbish at piping, and I'm not doing it. When you've gone all the way around the edge, guess what? Fill in the middle. I'm trying to get some kind of grooves going here, but it's a little bit soft. I should have maybe stiffened the peaks for a bit longer. Now the oven temperature needs to be the same as before. That's 160, 180 gas for, and you pop this in for 20 minutes. When it's done, just open the oven door slightly and let it cool down in there for about half an hour. Then you can take it out and leave it as long as you like to cool down completely. Well, about an hour, and then you can eat it. Here's our meringue, lemon meringue pie. Oh yeah. Okay, it's nice and cool, so I'm just going to burn it. Well, I'm just going to blast it with the blowtorch a bit to just get a bit more colour on it, hopefully without burning it. Before I get stuck into the lemon meringue pie, I want to talk a bit more about this Hauswirt stand mixer. I've had a lot of response to the first couple of unboxing and review videos that I did. Some of them very, very misguided. Somebody said it was cheap Chinese rubbish. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's not cheap, it's not rubbish. It is made in China, and you know, so's your iPhone. So it doesn't actually mean a lot. It costs quite a bit less than a KitchenAid, and quite a bit more than some of the cheaper actual plastic things that you can buy. But I've got to tell you, I've been so impressed by the quality of the workmanship and the design, and especially the dough hook and the paddle and the whisk. They're really well made, really sturdy, and you know, they will last a lifetime. That seems to be the important thing to users of KitchenAid. And you've got to say, KitchenAid is a long established brand. In fact, most of its engineering was done about 100 years ago. I really do recommend it, and I've got a discount code. I think I might have previously said it was 15% off. It isn't, it's 10% off at various Amazon sites. And I am sorry once again to people in North America, this model isn't available there. Hauswirt do have other models, but not this one in North America. In Europe, I'll put the links below to the various Amazon stores, which are like the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and maybe one or two others. And so you put that in at checkout and you get 10% off, and you'll be very happy, and so will I. So that's enough about the mixer. Let's try this meringue. I've got to say, it's not the best one I've ever made, because reasons, but it's fantastic. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time. Buy one of those.